Good morning, everybody. Jack O'Malley here with my weekly update. I did wait until Thursday morning to do this, as I wanted to hear the governor's State of the State message last night. And so I thought, well, if I do it at my normal Wednesday night, she could say something massively important, and I wouldn't have commented on it. So I thought I'd wait till today. So here I am. First of all, on the speech itself, just the speech and the setting and all of that. I guess it was at Detroit Diesel. I was joking with some people I was watching. The janitorial staff there deserves a massive pat on the back. That floor was so shiny you could eat off it. And it was as clean as a whistle. So my salute to the crew there for that. But as the speech went, you know what? Of the four speeches that I've seen her give, that was probably her best because it was simple and it was short and there was not a lot of real meat in it. That was, in my opinion, a very safe, I referred to it as using a football acronym. She was in pass prevent. She just dropped back and didn't want to create any errors, you know. She gave a very, the delivery was upbeat and happy, and I'm sure a lot of people liked it, but it was a short on meat, and you know, it was a good campaign, kicking off a campaign speech. It didn't tick anybody off. So from that standpoint, she probably did everything that she wanted to. I will say I was a little disappointed. I would have liked to have heard, you know, a little bit more. I'm going to go through a couple of things here. I would have liked to have heard a little bit more about rural Michigan and outstate Michigan. You know, because we could have been talking about mental health. She did touch on mental health a little bit about getting more providers through loan repayments and things, which we have legislation and the legislature has suggested here this term. So seem to be in agreement on that. But I would have liked to have seen, you know, hey, we need more beds. We need more inpatient type stuff already. Things we can do right now. I know my colleague Kurt Vanderwall in the Senate is working really hard on that as chair of the Health Committee. Northern Michigan, so many of our resources, just by population, go downstate. And that's fine, they need it too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not begrudging them anything. But we need some equal treatment in the North. And I would have liked to, because mental health is such a problem, especially after COVID, I would have liked to have heard a little bit more on that. And also I would have liked to hear a little bit more on the clean water issue. Water is obviously important. We've got aging lines, a little bit more. I know she's talked about it in the past, but this is an opportunity to maybe stress some other things. So just a couple things I wish she would have talked about more of. She did talk about public pensions and getting rid of the pension tax, which I'm not opposed to. I'm going to tell you about some other tax things that we should be doing and are being suggested. I don't disagree, but here's where I do think there is a problem. This reduction in public pension tax that she's talking about, those are about public pensions, not private pensions. I'd like to see all pensions, a 401k, whatever you want to call it, I'd like to see those taxes at the very least way reduced, because there's a lot of retirees out there on fixed incomes that don't have a public pension. They have a private pension or retirement fund. I would like to see more focus on an across the board type of deal. So to refund the pension tax is a good sounding thing, but is it really far enough? Those discussions to be had. Also, the earned income tax credit. Right now, Michigan is lowered at about 6%. She's suggesting 20%. Again, one of my colleagues in the Senate, Wayne Schmidt, has a 30% increase. So we're saying, hey, let's go a little further. Also, she talked about insulin costs. Just touched on it. We've got a 15-bill package that's moving through the House and the Senate right now. One of those bills would cap insulin costs, and I think it needs to get done. So again, with her on that. One area that I thought that she touched on, it's a good buzz topic, but I think it really does nothing. She talked about a $2,000 credit for the purchase of an EV. Again, good talking point, sounds good in a state of the state, but it really is a drop in a bucket, and I'll tell you why. I know some EV enthusiasts are, what are you talking about, Jack? That's right. I'm not saying I'm against it. What I'm saying is it really doesn't matter right now. From what I'm hearing from the dealers, they can't keep the EVs that they have really on the shelf. They're flying out the door. The people who want them are buying them, right? Where this will be helpful down the road is when car manufacturers are producing lots of them and more people are getting into the market. That's when that makes sense. I'm working with an EV, we have an electric vehicle work group, task force, that we're looking at, all right, what can Michigan do to be prepared for this, to kind of get started for maybe the changes that are coming in 10 years, 15 years. We can't guess as to what the EV world's going to be like past 2030. We really can't. Things are changing so fast. So I just wanted to throw those things out there. So to the governor, it was a fine speech, best one she's given, but it was short and it was safe. So I don't give her high marks on risk taken. Pardon me, I'm a little dry. Let's see here. Oh yeah, and some other. Yesterday, our Senate Tax Committee has passed some legislation that would drop the state income tax from 4.25% to 3.9% across the board. I'm for it. Here's the other thing. We've got a lot of money coming in, a lot of it fed, but we've seen our state coffers increased just from our own dollars. A couple of things there. That's partially inflation. When the prices go up, the taxes go up, right? So that's a shaky increase we've got there. So I am all for tax reductions, but we do have to make sure that they are targeted and they are smart. You can't just start cutting willy-nilly, because this little windfall we've got is one that we've got to spend smartly. Think of it as somebody who wins a couple of $1 million in the lottery, and they all seem to go broke, right? It's because they've got so much money, they start spending it, but then they can't sustain it. We have to make sure whatever we do is smart and sustainable as we move forward. Because I also describe this federal money as like a rat going through a snake. We've got a big bulge here, but eventually it will get absorbed and gone. So be smart with these tax cuts, and I think that's a good idea. There was also, the Senate is discussing a Michigan corporate income tax drop from 6% to 3.9%. I think makes sense. Also, a couple other things here, and I want to keep moving because, again, I like to stay at around 10 minutes. Big news on Tuesday, GM announced that it was going to build a couple of battery plants or a battery plant in Lansing, and then I think they're looking at another site. What's important about that is if the battery plants are being built, that means the electric vehicle auto plant is coming too, because for supply chain and whatnot, you build your EV building plant next to your battery plant or near your battery plant. So that is good news for the state of Michigan. So that was big news this week. Also, yesterday in the House, we did vote out some of the UIA reforms that our Oversight Committee has recommended. Now, I think this is important for a couple of reasons, because for the last year and a half, we've been taking testimony on what went wrong, how do we see this. We heard from citizens. Of course, we know just in our offices with the thousands of calls we've taken and helped people get their insurance taken care of, unemployment insurance. One of the criticisms I've talked about, I've seen, is well, what are you doing about it? Oh, you're not doing it. Well, here's what we're doing about it. You have the hearings, you get the information, you find out where it's at. You don't knee-jerk. Oh, pass a law. Oh, pass a law. No, you say, all right, let's find out what's going on, where's the problems, and you come up with solutions. I'm going to run through these real quick because there's quite a few of them. John DeMoose's bill would require the EOIA to waive any need for workers to repay the agency for any mistakenly issued payments. That's a huge one. Then we have Rep. Pat Altman would stop the EOIA from charging an improperly paid benefit to an employer's account. So, you don't suck it out of, Acme Widget Company. because they made a mistake. Rep. Johnson's bill, which would require UIA to send reports on any U.S. Department of Labor reviews. Remember, they got one in late a year ago, and they didn't say anything. That was the whole deal about you. The letters are wrong, and you're asking the wrong questions. It created a fiasco, and nobody knew that UIA had been called out by the Department of Labor. Another bill would say, hey, UIA's got to make public the amount of money that's in the UIA trust fund so we can see if it's going down like it was. Let's see here. Michelle Hoytinga shortens from 3 years to 1 year the time period that UIA can claw back money. They make a mistake and you were paid improperly. Okay, maybe there's a reason for that, but 3 years, which is the rule now, no. If it's fraud, different story. But if there was an improper payment, now they'll only have 1 year to come back and say, hey, you might need to pay that back. And of course, there are ways to appeal that too. But instead of 3 years, 1 year. Sarah Leichner, her bill says requires the UIA to turn around a claim within 15 to 20 days. You and I have certain deadlines if we're filling out with UIA and we have to hit them or we're in trouble. Well, the UIA needs to be held to some deadlines as well. And then Andrew Fink, his bill requires that UIA to bring letters, phone calls, recordings, all information to administrative law judges when they're contested cases. One of the things we heard from the administrative law judges was they didn't have all the information. UIA wasn't giving it to them, so when they were judging a case with a citizen, they didn't have all the information. That's wrong. The judge needs to have that. And then there's my bill. My bill would create a new unemployment insurance. I'll try that again. It's early. Unemployment insurance advocate. And this person would be there to answer questions on process for citizens and businesses, because this is confusing for them as well, businesses. So this advocate would be independent. It would be in the legislative council, so they're not in the governor's office. They would report to the legislature, and this would be an advocate for the people. And there was some pushback on this, but I think it makes a ton of sense. So those are the bills that we passed out of the House yesterday. They're on to the Senate. Hopefully, the Senate moves them and the governor signs them. We'll see. But the UIA needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of help. It needs a new computer system. It needs a lot of that sort of stuff too. But it also needs to have these types of rules put in place so that they are more responsive to the people that they are supposedly serving. So I just wanted you to know about those bills. Moved out of the House yesterday and are now in the Senate. Okay, one other little thing. I was chatting with Senator Jim Stamas yesterday, and he says, those videos you do, my brother-in-law, Gus Voda, he loves them. He's always telling me what you've got to say. So I just wanted to say, Gus, good job. And make sure you fill in the good senator so he knows the right way to do things. Senator Stamas is a very good man, Gus. He's a good brother-in-law, I bet. All right, so I am going to say so long for now. It's been a busy week. We still got session today, an oversight committee yet today. So there you go. I've gone a little over my focus time, but a lot happened this week I wanted you to be aware of and my thoughts on things. All right, so till next week, stay safe, stay warm, and keep praying for each other. Remember, we got to be kind. We're in this together. A good prayer never hurt, right? Take care.